Welcome to Creative Pages with Catherine. I'm Catherine, and it's time for the September 2023 Worldwide Virtual Crop brought on by Creative Memories. And I am Catherine, a Creative Memories Independent Advisor. I am so glad that you decided to join me this month, and I will be live streaming all 12 sketches for the virtual crop this month. Now, they're not all going to happen tonight, let me tell you. That would just be too much. But I'm hoping to get through maybe the first four tonight. We'll see. 8 of them are out. I don't think I'm going to get through all 8 tonight, but we'll see how the night goes. And I will try to post ahead of what's coming. So that way, a little thumbnail. I actually tried to get my act together here and put together some thumbnails so that way I could post it ahead and you all would be able to recognize and see that I am coming back on live again. So here we go, trying to switch things up a little bit, hopefully make it easier for you all to find me and enjoy watching this weekend. Let me switch things over real quick. It always takes a second or two here, doesn't it? There we go. There is my tabletop with sketch number 1. I need to get myself scooted over to the tabletop so I can actually work here. And I will hold the sketch up so that way y'all can see it. If this is your first time watching my channel, be aware I am not a very good sketch follower. So if you want a straight up interpretation of the sketch, follow the link in the description box directly to the Creative Memories blog, and they have plenty of ideas on how to follow the sketch the way it is here. I usually tend to follow the beat of my own drummer. I get creative. And that's partially why I put out the polls the week before. And y'all have voted. And we're going to be doing a happy album first, a happy album layout. I don't know. I don't know what possesses me sometimes, but that's okay. It's fun. We also are going to be working with vellum. I just love the sheet. Here, let me actually do this so you can see it closer with the small floral that's in our Q the Blue collection. Say that fast. And it doesn't really roll off the tongue, does it? I will be using some mats. I love our mats and I use them quite frequently. But we are going to be doing a 2-page spread with this. I have my bone folder out just because we have the vellum we're going to be using. And what else do I have? I've used embellishments, I've used mats, and I've used some designer paper along with just one single sheet of vellum. I think this is just about what I have left. Now, be aware this paper is directional, so if you do decide to use this one, make sure you watch how you're cutting it. I also have pulled out, okay, so you're going to have to forgive me a little bit on this one because I only had one, but I love this idea so much I wanted to show it anyways. And hang on, I got to find it in my stack of stuff here. You can see I've got a whole pile over here because we're doing peekaboo pockets. So I have pulled out my 5x7 peekaboo pocket, and I thought for sure that I had 2 of these. But, whether it got misplaced in the move or who knows, I only could find one. So I'm going to replicate it on this other side and let you all know, how to place your peekaboo pocket. But it is what it is at this point. Let me feel like I'm a little bit all over the place this month, but that's okay. I'm going to pull this out of the peekaboo pocket first because I cut 2 7-inch by 5-inch pieces from that vellum. I was directional with it, so when I put it in the trimmer, I put it in this way, cut it at 7 inches. I turned it and I cut it twice at the 5 inches. And then I pulled out 2 of my 4.5 by 6.5 inch mats. So here, these are my 2 pieces of vellum. that are going to go in the Peekaboo pockets when I order and get my second Peekaboo pocket in. It will go in, trust me. So the two mats I'm using, I just really kind of liked that these had more of not as bold of a pattern. We'll put it that way. Because you can see on the other side, we kind of have a bit of a bold pattern here going around the outside, but these are going to be for our photos because in the original sketch, hang on, let me show y'all where I'm going with this. They had these semicircles and then they had two photos. We are going to have the 4 photos between the 2 pages, but we're also going to have one that is going to be on here, and you'll be able to put a full 4x6 photo on these mats, and then it'll just get framed with the design that's around the edge of the mat. So these are my 4.5 by 6.5 inch mats. I'm going to center them on my vellum. And then you're going to see this is basically going to be the part where I kind of just saw this as the fold out with the Peekaboo. And I just decided not to do the whole circle deal. We're going to Peekaboo it. So let's get some tape runner, which my tape runner, yeah, I shouldn't have even tried. It's okay. I saw it was a little bit red, but I thought I had a little bit more in there. But let me flip this over. So easy and quick to just replace those. I made sure I had my refill ready to go because I knew it was gonna go. I didn't know it was only had one little speck of tape left in it, but hey. And you know what? I just used the wrong tape, didn't I? Because I needed my vellum tape, but that's, well, you know what it is, and I'm live, so I'm just going to redo this. Make sure you use your vellum tape runner, not your regular tape runner. This is what I get for being out of whack and seeing that red on there, and we might actually wind up seeing this through here, so I might, after I am off being live, fix this. But while I'm live, we're just going to get the feel for it here and do it this way. And I've got a hair that's bugging me. There we go. Okay. Yep, we're going to be able to see that a little bit. It is what it is. Okay. Grab my multi-purpose tool and pull this up a minute here. Because basically we're going to frame it with the vellum here. I'm just going to put that on kind of light. I don't want to push too hard because I know I'm going to have to go back and fix it. We're going to center this one, and if you decide you want to use this one as a journal mat, you can, but you're writing this way, so you're going to have to cover up this part here. Grab your 2-way corner rounder, and you can put a little white piece that'll still show your decorative pieces there. So I was going to burnish it, but I'm not going to burnish it. So usually when you have your vellum tape runner, you take your bone folder, you burnish it a little bit so that way the tape disappears. But right now, my tape is not going to be disappearing because mine is going to be on there. Now I need to make sure which end my tape is on my Peekaboo pocket so I get this placed down correctly. Yep. Okay, so my tape, there's a little bit of tape on the Peekaboo pockets. It's kind of hard to see because it's a clear plastic piece here. And right there. So you can see maybe, there we go. If I turn it, that is the piece that you're looking for to figure out where the sticky portion is on your Peekaboo pocket. So I'm going to be sticking this one to this side. So I want my vellum to be on the front side of what people see when they turn their page to this layout. So I'm going to stick this after I get the rest of my stuff done, but I wanted to make sure I placed it the direction I wanted it to be. This one is going to be over here like this, and then it'll go that way once I get my Peekaboo pocket. And so now my decorative paper, I used this one. It kind of has like a tile print on it. It has a geometric pattern on the back, and we are going to place these towards the top corners on the outer edges. And There's a reason we're doing it this way, because I have some other things I've done here. I just really loved how this came out once I figured out how to incorporate the peekaboo pocket, because I just, as soon as I saw those circles, like I said, I don't know, just spoke to me and said, let's fold this one out. Okay, so now those are lined up. And next, I need to talk a little bit about our border maker system, because I pulled out my Ancient Key chain border maker cartridge. And the name is a little bit deceiving because most of our chain cartridges actually pull away from the paper. But with the Ancient Key, when you look at it, it stays with the paper. You can kind of see where it has the metal all the way around and essentially punches out the pieces from your paper. And you can see I've done that with the vellum here. Let me put a piece of white paper behind it and lose the vellum, but that's okay. Here we go. Maybe you can see that a little better. It's harder once I get it on the white for the actual page. You'll see it a little bit better. But let me pull out this wispy chain one real quick. And you can see here where there's no metal up against the top and the bottom. And on the Ancient Key, it has metal on the top and the bottom, which means it's just punching out this part of the design from the paper. So try not to get confused about that one. It's just the name wasn't one of our typical ones, but it's really kind of cool, the design overall. And we are going to run these down the side here of our page. So I'm actually going to put it over the jeeping as well. And I need to make sure, because remember how I said at the beginning, watch out because this paper's directional. Watch out because the paper's directional. So when we cut actually that's why I have this piece. When we cut our 7x5 pieces of vellum that I showed you here, our pieces are a 12x12 sheet of paper. So you wind up with 5 inches left at the top. And so what I've done is I've cut on either side, and then I cut it off at 1 1/4 inches. So these pieces here are 5 inches by 1 1/4 inches. And then I had to get 2 of them because our Happy Album is 10 inches by 7 inches, I believe. Hang on 1 second. I will measure real quick. Yeah. So if you go from this little edge here to here is 7. So it's just under 7. But it is 10 inches tall. So now I'm going to find my vellum tape runner again and not make the same mistake here. So we're going to put it on the jeeping a little bit and then coming down here a little bit. So that way it'll stick. Usually we use the repositionable tape, but because we're using the vellum, we're going to go all the way down our page here. And I wanted the actual design to run over the white part of the page. So I'm matching up the edge of the inside of the tile with the edge of my paper. Oops. I'm sticking to it a little bit, but that's, hey, it's part of the fun, right? So here we go. Let's go ahead and get this onto here. Uh-oh. Let me get back over here. Okay, quit sliding around on me. Let me get this lined up. The vellum does have a front and a back, so you kind of do have to watch some of that. Hang on, I need to switch these. Wait, that one is that side this way. Okay. Sorry, I had a longer edge or a wider edge on this one. Let me grab my bone folder real quick, and I'm just going to run it down real quick and up my page. This adjusted a little bit. Multi-purpose tool is here. You needed so many tools when you were scrapbooking, right? I just need to adjust that just a hair. It popped up my paper just a little bit. So I needed to get that to scoot over just a hair. And now I've got the top popping up again. Goodness gracious. There. Stay down. Okay. One side is done and I will hold it up. Let me grab one of my cardboard inserts because I find that with these light colors, I need to actually dull my light a little bit so that way you can see it on camera better. Here we go. Can you all see the vellum and the tile cut into that a bit? I hope so. Somebody let me know in the chat. I can see you all watching. You're being very quiet though. Hopefully you can see it. Took a little bit of work, but got it. And now we're going to do the same thing on this other side here. I just have to make sure that the edges match. There we go. Okay, this one does have the longer edges going on the same side again. I'm just going to run this down here and down over here, kind of along the edge of the paper, which is where my sides of my vellum is running. I didn't really put too much towards the middle because it's going to hold on here. And now this is going to line up nicely with, again, the edge of the paper. And it goes over the jeeping just a little bit for our page. All right. Oh, thank you. Oops. Marianne's saying it's lovely, so I believe her. Hopefully some of y'all think it's looking pretty good so far. This collection is just really understated, I think, or underrated. Okay, so now we have our vellum with our ancient keychain border maker cutout. We have our little piece of designer paper, and you're going, Catherine, you've got a whole blob of white down here. We won't for long. Here we go. This is where our 4x6 mats are going to come in, and I pulled out 4 of them. And look at this. They really do have just such a nice match here. This was my right side. This is my left side. And this is what's going to cover our bottom, because remember, our mats are 4x6. Our happy album page is only 7 inches. This was 1.25 inches, but you can see we don't really cover up that last cutout. So let me grab, we're going to put this over just a little bit because we're going to add a little something there. And then if you decide later you want a journal box, because that was one thing I'll show you in a minute. I pulled out one other mat I had left over from, I don't know, another live stream probably, or another project I was working on. And there's that one. This one is going to go to the right a bit. Wait, I think, was I going to put these up or down? Hang on one second. Let me make sure I do this how I wanted to. I was initially planning. Let me get this one down, and then I'll make sure that I have it how I wanted it. It's like sometimes I put these together the day ahead, and then when I go to come on live, I kind of take it apart so that way I can show you all how I put it together. And then it's like, how did I put that together? It's like putting together a puzzle for the second time here. All right, I'm going to move this over. So these kind of do butt up to each other. And I think I did have because I have this up here. And I have this one's going to go up over here. If I can pick it up. And the corners, because then we'll have our peekaboo pockets coming in from the sides. I think I actually am going to line this up over here because you can tell I didn't push down on that mat yet. So we are going to have just a little bit of space here that you can do some journaling, because this is going to be where you're going to put your photos for your layout. So you have enough to do 2 photos on each side. I'm going to pop this one up with our foam squares. And I'll get that other one going too here in just a moment. On one of the larger foam squares. So these are from our embellishment pack. I don't think this collection has stickers or ever had stickers. They do have letter stickers, I believe, that coordinate. So if you do, the blue ombre is what coordinates well with the collection. But otherwise, I don't think there's the actual decorative stickers that we usually have. And then our peekaboo pocket, remember what I said, we got to pull this tab off. And hang on, Marion, I'm going to answer your question in just a moment here. Okay, so the peekaboo pocket goes just below your embellishment here. And then this one, when I get my other peekaboo pocket, is going to go here. And it'll also fold out once I get it. All right, let me answer Marion's question real quick. So, Marion, the reason that I'm doing the Happy Album pages was it was one of the things that was voted on in the poll on my community tab on YouTube this week. So it was one of the options people could vote on, and somebody did vote on it. As soon as I saw this sketch, for whatever reason, I liked the idea of doing the peekaboo pockets because that's how the circle spoke to me. And like basically my little ancient keychain borders kind of mimicking the border on the sketch here. But that's why we wound up with the Happy Album this time. It was an option. It got voted on yes, so I wanted to show it at some point. And for whatever reason, the first sketch screamed Happy Album to me. So hence the reason we're doing the Happy Album. So I'm glad you voted. Go check the votes before we start live streaming and you'll see what's coming probably. Sometimes I'll add in a little something that isn't on the poll. Especially this one was hard because with knowing that there was going to be 12 sketches coming, I kind of compartmentalized things a little bit. And then we also had these arrows as part of our embellishment pack. And I wanted to let people know that the page was interactive. And I don't know why I put tape on this one. It's because I keep thinking I have a peekaboo pocket. But the nice thing about the repositionable tape is you just take your finger, you rub it off, and you don't have to worry about it. It's not like what I'm going to have to do to fix the vellum, but it's okay. So this is going to go here. That's going to go there. So that way people can see, there's an arrow pointing towards each end and you can turn it. And then we also have these white memory tabs. And I looked at it and I just could not decide if I wanted to add the white tab to this page. If you like one on there, then add it. I just didn't think, for me, I liked actually seeing, I thought it covered up a little bit too much of the design on the page. So, that's it for sketch number 1. Thank you all so much for joining me. Let me show you the sketch again. This is how we got to the Happy Album. My brain just went there somehow. And there we go. So those are the measurements. Those are what I cut. And you can easily adjust this for a 12 by 12 album. We do have, initially I was looking at they have a 6 by 12. So we do have a 6 by 12 peekaboo pocket that you could sub for this one, and then turn the whole side of the album. But I almost like that this one only has a partial, because then it gave us an opportunity to have our embellishments at the top and still be able to work our album. Okay, one done, 11 to go. I will post again, like I mentioned at the beginning. I'm going to try to schedule these with a thumbnail so that way you know what's coming. And I'm going to be taking pictures of these finished layouts and adding them where my logo is on the thumbnail, which is why the thumbnail had my logo twice. Just in case y'all were wondering, that's kind of what's happening. I usually get more people watching after the live streams, and I thought this way it would make it easier for people to know which layout I put together for which sketch. So that is it for me. Thank you, Miriam, for agreeing with me. It's always nice to know that what I was thinking is kind of on par with what others are thinking as well. And it's going to be until next time.